correct a mistake we made in 2022 of electing the sitting president, but we have to follow the procedure. And so we cannot, Mr. Speaker, stand here and say that just because, Mr. Speaker, can I be heard in silence, Mr. Speaker?
What is your point of order, Senator Mundigi?
Please freeze my time.
Order.
Senator Nyotu hafai kuongea mambo ya jina ya rais wa Kenya, wakati hapa tunaongea mambo ya devolution, wakati hapa tunaongea mambo ya kuokoa governor ama kuokoa MC. Kwa hivyo amekosea kutanja jina ya rais wa Kenya katika kwa hiki kikao.
Order, honorable senators, order. Order. I think what Senator Nyotu has said is if you need to remove our president, you need to use the constitutional means, which is a fact. Conclude. Conclude.
So thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you also for educating Senator Mundigi, and to also tell him to be a better listener than a better talker, Mr. Speaker. So what I was saying is that we cannot forget about procedure and process just because we want any public officer out of office. That we must follow procedure, and just like we are waiting, that's what I was saying, to remove President Ruto in 2027 by a way of vote, the people of Isiolo will have to wait.
Order, honorable senator. Senator Nyotu, just take your seat. Senator Nyotu, I've given you latitude. Don't abuse it. As you make your comments, leave alone the name of the president. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm advised. So what we are saying, I'm just joining my colleagues in saying that the County Assembly of Isiolo must put its act together, and that the County Assembly must not be motivated by the need to remove the county governor and thereby forget about the procedure and the process. Mr. Speaker, no sittings were held on the 18th of June and the 26th of June because there is no evidence whatsoever, audio or even written anywhere, Mr. Speaker. I believe that the images that we saw there, Mr. Speaker, cannot be proof enough that even audio recordings were destroyed just because maybe there were those incidents that the councils for the county assembly were able to show on through that video, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, let the county assembly bring a better motion where they'll have sat.
Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Nafikiri swala ambalo tunatakana kuamua ni je, tuendelee na hii kesi mpaka mwisho ama tuimalizie hapa ilipofika. Na nafikiri sisi kama Senate, japokuwa tumekaa kama mahakama, lakini sio mahakama kulingana na ile undani kabisa. Kwa hivyo sisi hatuwezi kufungwa mikono kwa sababu ya masuala ya kiprosija ama kimwelekeo. Kama Senate tuna jukumu la kuhakikisha kwamba sheria ama haki inapatikana. Je, haki ile itapatikana kwa watu wa Isiolo na watu wengine wote wakati tutakapomaliza hii kesi katika primary stage, ama itapatikana wakati itakaposikizwa mpaka mwisho? Tumeona kwamba hata kama itakuwa Senate imefanya makosa katika kumbandua mamlakani governor ana nafasi ya kwenda mahakama ya High Court, kwenda mahakama ya rufaa, mpaka mahakama ya upeo zaidi katika nchi yetu. Kwa hivyo hapa kwa sasa hatuamui tuampeleka nyumbani tuambandua governor ama hatumbandui. Hapa tunachoamua ni kwamba je, tusikize ushahidi wote kamili ili tuweze kupata taswira kamili ya yale ambayo yalitokea kule Isiolo. Kama ushahidi ambao utasikizwa hautaweza kufikia kile kiwango kinachohitajika na sheria, basi itakuwa hatuna budi kumwachilia. lakini kwa sasa itakuwa ni kinyume na vile vile pia ni dhulma kwa watu wa Isiolo iwapo tutaweza kumaliza kesi hii katika hii mahali ambapo imefikia katika hatua ya mwanzo kabisa kulingana na sheria. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi napinga hii hoja ya kupitishwa kwa hii primary objection. Nasema kwamba wacha kesi iendelee mpaka mwisho, kwa sababu hakuna chochote ambacho tutapunguza ama tutaongeza tukiendelea mpaka mwisho. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Ali Roba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, and albeit the fact that the times given is very short, the issue before us that is to be determined as a Senate is the impeachment of the governor. And that justice can only be arrived at if we look at the substance of the case to logical conclusion prior to killing the case before it even starts. The saddest point, Mr. Speaker, is that even listening this case, whether the governor is impeached or he is not impeached, Isiolo County is at a very desperate situation. The situation in Isiolo County, whether the governor is impeached or not impeached, is not going to improve because of the lawlessness that has prevailed in that Isiolo County. Mr. Speaker, I see no harm for the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, just like any other court, despite the fact that preliminary objections will be raised, for the Senate to listen to the substance of the case and make a determination after all the evidence has been heard and processed. Because what we are trying to do is to kill the case before it has even started. Yet the same issues would be able to be brought forth in the substance of the case in terms of trying to debate and get. This is not about whether the governor can be impeached or not impeached, but is whether the Senate can listen to the case, exhaustively to be able to determine from a very informed point of view that this case has been substantiated or not substantiated on the basis of the evidence that will be presented before us. And the issues that has been shared will come out to light with even more evidence. It could even give, a very decisive position for us to be able to make two serious references within the evidence that are produced by the county assembly or the council for the governor, for that matter. I oppose this motion and seek to convince my colleagues that we are better off determining this case after having listened to the substance of the case exhaustively to its logical conclusion. Mr. Speaker, sir, I oppose.
Senator Omtata.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity. Allow me to read a verse, a section of this book, A Man for All Seasons. It says, Roper says, so now you would give the devil the benefit of law. More replies, yes. What would you do? Cut a great road through the law to get after the devil? Roper replies, I would cut down every law in England to do that. More replies, oh, and when the last law was down and the devil turned round on you, where would you hide, Roper? The laws all being flat. This country is planted thick with laws from coast to coast. Man's laws, not God's. And if you cut them down and you are just the man to do that, do you really think you could stand upright in the winds that would blow? Yes, I would give the devil benefit of law for my own safety's sake. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, those words that were uttered, that were written in 1960 in the play A Man for All Seasons, underscore my position that we must uphold the rule of law in this country. Article 3, Clause 1 of the Constitution calls upon us to do just that, and having listened to the motions here, from the way the matter was conducted, clearly we had two motions before this House. with an application for dismissal based on the fact that there was no hearing and there was a preliminary objection based on the fact that there was a court order. So, disposing of that motion, when you allowed evidence to be adduced, it moved into a motion, I would say that having listened to what was presented, there was no sitting of the assembly that meets the threshold in law. The assembly has got a designated place where it sits. The assembly has got clear procedures to be followed. And unfortunately, the evidence before us is such that that sitting did not take place. Number two, we were told that we could ignore the court orders. I would like to persuade the Land Council, who are saying that the High Court had no business to intervene, to look at Article 165 of the Constitution.
Senator from
Busia.
County.
Yes.
Just restrict your submissions to the motion on the sittings.
Yeah, so
When I come to the second motion, you will make these comments.
Okay. So I'm fully persuaded that there was no sitting that gives us jurisdiction to sit.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, this is a joke and a dangerous one, Mr. Speaker. Where does the team of the County Assembly of Isiolo get the audacity to walk into this Senate without a shred of evidence that a sitting of a county assembly ever took place? Mr. Speaker, this is not a WhatsApp group. This is a constitutional institution. Where is the Hansard? Where is the attendance record? And I want to be very clear. There was no sitting, and therefore there was no impeachment, Mr. Speaker. And with those very few remarks, I support.
Senator Professor Tom Ojenda.
Mr. Speaker, the jurisprudential contours of impeachment are embedded both in procedure and in substance, and now well settled, Mr. Speaker, in the case of Martin Nyagawambora and County Assembly of Embu. I took part in the case. The case of Mohammed Ali Mahmoud and County Assembly Wajir, Mr. Speaker, again I took part in the case and we got the governor back to office because there was a court order. And lastly, Kawera Mangaza and the County Assembly of Meru, and the recent case, Mr. Speaker, of Onyango Olo versus County Assembly of Kisumu. Mr. Speaker, the question as to whether there was a sitting is answered by the documents filed before the Senate. The affidavit of Salad Boru Guracha speaks to whether or not there was a sitting, and it is emphatic, Mr. Speaker, that there was no sitting. The second affidavit that we have, Mr. Speaker, on record is by Habiba Galgalo Jirma, who is the Chief Finance Officer and who also confirms that there was no sitting. The third affidavit is by the Honorable Abinur D. Mujilo, who is an elected member of Kina Ward and who confirms that there was no sitting. The next affidavit is by Honorable Diba Brishad Ali, who is the duly elected County Assembly of Isiolo member for Garbatula Ward, who also confirms that there was no sitting. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, and this is important, Shaban Zungu, whose affidavit appears at page 46, confirms that on the 18th the assembly was locked. On the 26th, the assembly, the members were able to get in the assembly for 10 minutes and walk out. And that is where the substantive question as to whether there were proper recordings. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, this afternoon, I thought that counsel for the county assembly would have responded to the technical issues raised as to whether or not there was a sitting through the law. But unfortunately, Council Mawera fell into the tricks of his submissions by playing two videos that did not have voice recordings and that went, Mr. Speaker, to admitting that there were no proceedings at the Assembly. It's very, very unfortunate that this case has to die. Mr. Speaker, I was prepared to proceed to the substance of the hearing.
Senator Seki.
Honorable Speaker, I also wish to support this motion by saying that the County Assembly of Isiolo have not demonstrated to this House that there was a sitting in the County Assembly of Isiolo. Honorable Speaker, some years back, I used to work as a clerk in the county councils by then, before devolution. And the county councils, municipalities, councillors respect also the law, and they used to work or even to deliberate in the chamber. The reason why we have the chamber is there is a reason as to why we have the chamber. It is very difficult, and it will not be proper for the county assembly to come to this house with an allegation that they had a meeting, the assembly sat, there is no video, no audio to this house, and they believe that we'll agree to them. Honorable Speaker, this is not right. However, we may have so many things against the county assembly or the executive of Isiolo through the governor. After looking at the documentation they've presented, or even before, Honorable Speaker, but the procedure and the law must be upheld. Honorable Speaker, I support this motion by saying that we are
Senator
not going to give it.
Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine, Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the motion, albeit reluctantly for this reason. This prelim PO had two counts. One is clear in my view, and the other one, the one we are discussing currently, unfortunately, we did not get the instance to interrogate all the evidence. But, Mr. Speaker, it is important for us to affirm that at a time when the rule of law seems to be a problem in Kenya, we must be that house that must stand for the rule of law. The rule of law applies to the county assembly as it does to the county executive as it does to the Senate. Procedures are important, and it is important that county assemblies, not just of Isiolo but elsewhere, follow the rules and the standing orders that they that they have put in place to ensure that everything they bring and represent for their people are actually able to be executed in accordance with the procedures. I feel that the first count might have been prosecuted better through interrogation of evidence, but unfortunately, the lawyers for the county assemblies have made no attempt to actually respond to the issue as to whether there was a sitting or not. They simply say there was a sitting, but the little evidence there is shows that there was no sitting. So they have actually not properly assisted in making this decision. But in my view, the real PO is the second motion that we will go to. Mr. Speaker, as a Senate, I think we also need to address ourselves to our own procedures around the PO. We had the issue of the PO in the Kericho matter. We had the issue of a PO in the Kawera matter, the last one. But we ignored it as a Senate. So we need now to determine whether we will work on matters PO selectively or whether we should have rules. And as we have those rules, Mr. Speaker, I would want to state that matters procedures are matters that involve every senator in this House. So we should all be involved in terms of voting on matters relating that are preliminary, because that is about procedures. So to the extent that the county...
Senator Karungo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I rise to contribute to this motion, I beg to start with a question. What defines an assembly sitting? It is the Speaker, the mace, the quorum, the notice, the Gazette, the Pensix, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think going forward, because even the Hansard is part of it, the voting list is part of it. As we go forward, I think this Senate should come up with a resolution that for any other impeachment to go on, the county assemblies should provide video evidence of whether that vote was taken, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, why am I saying that? A few years ago, I was seated at the gallery where I see the good people of Isiolo seated when the governor of Kiambu then was being was brought in this house, Mr. Speaker. At that particular time, I knew there were no numbers to remove him from office, but I was over there, Mr. Speaker. And the Senate voted the way it voted, Mr. Speaker. And I swore I want to come to this Senate so that I can do the right thing. Because the strength of justice, Mr. Speaker, is not seen on how we treat innocent people. It's how you handle the guilty one, Mr. Speaker. So we have to follow the processes so that we make sure that even those that are brought here, they go through due process, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this begs the question, if we were to allow the full hearing, that means we will listen to whether the county assembly sat then, we'll have the witnesses, they will be cross-examined, and then instead of voting on that particular issue, we'll be told, wait, let's now go to ground 1, let's go to ground 2, and let's go to ground 3. What if after we go all through these grounds, we realize they never sat? So why are we taking the governor through the grounds, yet probably the county assembly never sat, Mr. Speaker? So I think we should also come up with a proper procedure as a Senate that before we even think of listening to the grounds, we are certain whether for sure the county is sat. Because we have the cases of Machakos, where I think there were 2 clerks. There was a case of Nyamira, 2 clerks, 2 speakers, 2 assemblies. So, Mr. Speaker, we have seen we have rogue assemblies somehow. So if we do not cure that now, we might never be able to cure this in future. And probably we will be coming here as governors also. So we want the procedures to be followed. So I stand here to say I support the motion so that the Isiolo people, the Isiolo MCAs, can now go look at it, bring it here with the procedure, with everything, and we will listen to them. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And before I contribute, I want to correct the senator for Kiambu that Machakos, we did not have any 2 clerks at any time. Maybe you are referring to another county in Ukambani, but not Machakos. Mr. Speaker, I want to say very clearly that impeachment was meant to be a tool to bring good governance to counties. And Mr. Speaker, if this is the case, if we allow the assemblies to come up with issues without proper process and bring them to this Senate, and we contribute to it, Mr. Speaker, I don't think we'll be doing justice to the counties. And yet we senators are defenders of devolution. I know there are issues in Isiolo, but it is yet to be determined whether there are issues for impeachment. But before that is determined, Mr. Speaker, we want to know if due process was followed, and listening to the county assembly's lawyers, Mr. Speaker, they did not clarify completely or address us completely that there was any sitting on the 18th of June and the 18th of and the 26th of June. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, according to how they represented themselves, there was no sitting at the county assembly. And so this motion, I support it, and I say that we cannot move to the next stage because there was no sitting. We have to follow due process to the latter, even as we impeach the governors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kenyo.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa swali ambalo napaswa kujiuliza sisi katika seneti hii na vile vile katika gatuzi zetu, wote vile tunapaswa kufanya ni kufuata sheria, kwa sababu ni kinaya Bwana Spika ikiwa sisi ndio tunotunga sheria lakini sheria zenyewe hatuzifuati. Ukiangalia katika taarifa rasmi ya bunge ya Isiolo, hakuna kikao chochote Bwana Spika kilichofanyika. Huwa tukisema ya kwamba Bwana Spika, ikiwa kikao hakikuweko, na hapo ndipo ambapo kungekuwa ukishughulikiwa haya mambo Bwana Spika, katika seneti hii tunapaswa kusema ya kwamba hilo pingamizi la awali tunalikubalia, ndiposa sheria ziweze kufuatwa Bwana Spika. Kwa sababu utaratibu wa sheria usipofuatwa itakuwa hakuna jambo tunalofanya hapa. Nilisikia kiongozi wa wengi na nimesikiza seneta wenzangu, nimemsikiza Faki akisema ya kwamba ati tuendelee kusikiza ushahidi wa kutosha na tunaweza tukapata mambo mengi zaidi. Bwana Spika, ikiwa sheria haikufuatwa kuanzia mwanzo, sioni haja yoyote ya sisi kusikiza kesi hii, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, wanasema ya kwamba usikate kanzu kabla ya mtoto kuzaliwa. Sisi wenyewe hatuwezi kusikiza. Tunajua ya kwamba katika gatuzi nyingi kuna shida nyingi. Laikipia kuna shida, Nandi kuna shida, vile vile Isiolo kuna shida, lakini hatutatafuta shida bila kufuata utaratibu wa sheria Bwana Spika. Na ni kinaya kwa sababu sisi ndio tunatunga sheria. Gatuzi hiyo ya Isiolo ndio wanatunga sheria. Ikiwa hatutaweza kufuata kanuni za kudumu ambazo sisi tumeziweka Bwana Spika, hamna haja ya kuwa tumeketi hapa Bwana Spika. Tunapaswa kuwa tumefunga virago na kwenda nyumbani. Ndio najua sina hofu pangu rohoni ya kwamba watu wa Isiolo na wanataka haki itendwe, lakini sheria ni kama msumeno, inakata mbele na inakata nyuma Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo tufuate sheria, na tukifuata sheria ninajua ya kwamba ukweli utapatikana. Lakini kwa leo na hili jambo pingamizi hii ya awali naunga mkono Bwana Spika. Hakukuwa na vikao katika gatuzi za Isiolo.
Senator Shakil Abdallah.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, huu ni mjadala muhimu sana leo. Na ni muhimu wa bunge hili la Seneti kutoa uamuzi ambao utaridhisha kila mtu katika Kenya yetu, kwa sababu utakuwa ni mfano mwema wa mbeleni. Hapa naona mambo ni mawili. Kuna mchakato, kuna na ushahidi. Pengine watu wa Isiolo wako na ushahidi, wako na kesi ya kwamba wana haki ya kumimpeach gavana wao, lakini mchakato ambao ni process ndio haikufuatwa. Kwa hivyo tunaomba ikiwezekana kwa ufuatwe kikamilifu, iletwe hapa tumalize hii kazi Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini changamoto nimeona ni mchakato ambao kwamba ni process haikufuatwa. Kwa hivyo
Mr. Speaker, you need to protect me from majority leader saying something in my local language. Mr. Speaker, from the beginning, under Article 126, Mr. Speaker, the law is very clear on the sittings of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, if some of us are saying process is not important, the process and outcome is as important as the law. In Raila Odinga case, in the petition of 2017, Uhuru Kenyatta's win as the president was nullified. because of only process. So if the highest court, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya, has given direction and the weight on the issue of process, Mr. Speaker, who are we? Mr. Speaker, the Senate cannot participate in settling clanism, regional or any politics before. We only deal with the rule of the law, which involves the Constitution and the process, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the reading of Standing Order 65 of Isiolo County Assembly Standing Orders and Standing Order R36 is very clear on the sittings and the procedure of impeachment of the governor. Mr. Speaker, we have had cases where they want a speaker. We should have a mess. We should have House Business Committee that has sanctioned the order of the House. Mr. Speaker, we should have necessary modification to ensure there is proper sitting, Mr. Speaker. On this aspect, the county assembly has struggled. Mr. Speaker, you know I'm the greatest champion of MCAs. I've always wished that their welfare be looked at. I always wish they have ward development fund. But they must follow the law. Mr. Speaker, we cannot hang an innocent man. As Lord Denning would say, I better send 10,000 guilty men than to hang in gallows one innocent man. And we are invited to decide, Mr. Speaker, tonight and today evening, Mr. Speaker. We have set the precedent. Majority Leader, and I want, with all due respect, to advise Majority Leader to have faith in his own committees. If there is a problem in Isiolo County Assembly, the Devolution and Intergovernmental Committee chaired by Senator Mohammed Abbas should pick it up immediately the way we did with Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, and sort out that issue once and for all, Mr. Speaker. That is why we have committees, Mr. Speaker. By the time we agree, there was no live stream, they don't have a YouTube channel, there is a website, but they don't function, Mr. Speaker. We just needed that evidence to know whether the sitting was there, Mr. Speaker, including the red recordings. In fact, my colleague, Learned Senior, talked about that the Hansard was vandalized. Then how did you cook the Hansard reporting before the House? Mr. Speaker, we know there are people who are expert in cooking chai and mandazi, but Senate cannot be part of icing. Kibwana.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, mchakato wa kung'oa kiongozi aliyechaguliwa na watu kusema kweli si jambo rahisi, ni jambo zito. Mimi langu sitazungumza sana, ni kuuliza tu kama kuna ushahidi wowote ungeletwa na tuweze, kweli tumeona video na tukajaribu kuuliza maswali na bado hayako, na maswali yenyewe tumejibiwa kuwa kulikuwa hakuna kikao. Kwa hivyo nasikitika tu sana kuwa labda huu ushahidi umeletwa kabla walikuwa hawajajitayarisha vilivyo. Kwa hivyo huu ni kiongozi anafaa kung'olewa, lakini pia ang'olewe kwa njia ya haki. Na mimi na support mjadala, nasema bado tunangoja kama kuna ushahidi wowote, lakini kama hamna ushahidi, ni masikitiko makubwa kuwa hatuwezi kuendelea na kukata sisi kama majaji mambo hayo tuyamalize kama hatuna ushahidi wowote. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Senator Wamatenga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for also giving me this opportunity to add my voice to the debate. Mr. Speaker, allow me, Mr. Speaker, to divert to a bit and play the devil's advocate. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the second time we're dealing on matters PO, and we are living in an age where, Mr. Speaker, digital artificial intelligence has become the way of doing things. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would want to throw a challenge to each and every senator sitting in this room. For the second time, Mr. Speaker, we are hearing allegations, threshold not met, meetings do not take place. Mr. Speaker, we have committees, standing committees. We have committee of devolution chaired by my good friend here. We have several committees that can attempt to solve some of these issues so that they do not even make, in the first place, their way into this House. Mr. Speaker, I would want to request each and every one of us, if we must make devolution work, if we must empower MCAs to do what they need to do and to do it light-free, in a house where we have gurus of law, in a house where we have lawyers, and many of them are years on the procedures that they must follow, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, it is very unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that the MCAs have sat many hours said before here. We had a Kerisho case here where the threshold was not met. Mr. Speaker, in this House, we have lawyers. Why can't we frontier ourselves and go and educate our colleagues? Because the success of this country is the success of every one of us. Mr. Speaker, it is important that we who have lived to the city stage, that we must take it upon ourselves to ensure that we leave a country to a younger generation, a country where listening, a country where, Mr. Speaker, we do not see unwanted destruction of property because of misinformation. Mr. Speaker, let's leverage technology. Let's leverage artificial intelligence so that we do not have this question, were there coverage? At this age, Mr. Speaker, you only need to scroll your phone and submit.
Senator Oburu Odinga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a very, very important case before the Senate. And, Mr. Speaker, we must do justice. And to do justice, Mr. Speaker, we must follow the law. And we must follow the law strictly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the burden of proof lies with the accuser. The person who is accusing is the one who has the burden of proof. And we cannot teach people bad habits. We don't want to teach our counties bad habits where they bring half-baked evidence, or they don't want to bring, maybe they hide some, or they don't want to bring, or they bring those which are not convincing to us as senators. And they expect us to just act on them and approve whatever they are bringing. Mr. Speaker, we must teach them good habits. And the process is just as important as the substance itself, Mr. Speaker. So as much as we would like, and I would have liked to hear this case through, I would have liked to hear it all through so that we know the problems in Isiolo. I have not been to Isiolo for a very long time, and I would have liked to know, and we don't want the Isiolo people to continue suffering. But if this case is as serious as the MCAs want us to believe, let them go back and prepare properly and bring it back so that we can and follow all the procedures. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to say much more than that, but I believe that from the facts presented to us here, personally I'm persuaded, Mr. Speaker, that there was no meeting to impeach the governor, and therefore we cannot act on facts which were created thereafter. They should have been created before and thought about thoroughly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt in my mind that there was an attempt, and I repeat, Mr. Speaker, there was an attempt by the County Assembly of Isiolo to sit, table, and debate an impeachment motion against the governor, Mr. Speaker. As to whether, Mr. Speaker, the County Assembly of Isiolo indeed sat is the crux of the matter that this Senate has been invited, Mr. Speaker, to make a determination on, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to arguments from my many colleagues. And Mr. Speaker, Junior, Mr. Speaker, has told you, or rather told this House, that the law is clear, Mr. Speaker. But I want to say, Mr. Speaker, in this matter, Mr. Speaker, the law is not clear, Mr. Speaker. In this matter, Mr. Speaker, the law is two-pronged. Can I be heard in silence, Mr. Speaker?
What is your point of order, Senator Fernandez?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Understanding Order 101, their contents of speech. Why is he discussing my competence and ability, which precedes me? Mr. Speaker, instead he should withdraw and apologize. He should not behave like a librarian somewhere who tried to say it to me.
Order,
Mr.
honorable
Speaker.
senators.
Mr. Speaker, you had made a ruling that if a senator or anybody should not be discussed, Mr. Speaker, he should withdraw and apologize. Or we can go and bring a court order against him.
Order, Senator Manzo. Senator Fernandez.
Because I'm not on trial. I'm not on trial. Am I on trial? I'm not, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
So he should withdraw and apologize.
Senator Chimera, conclude your submissions.
It is procedural. It is equally substantive, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the law is procedural, Mr. Speaker, counsel for the governor have ably tabled documents in form of affidavits that actually speak to whether the assembly sat or not, Mr. Speaker. On the contrary, Mr. Speaker, we have not seen any document, Mr. Speaker, from the county assembly that seeks to either concoct and say that there was even an order, Mr. Speaker, just to prove to this house that, Mr. Speaker, indeed, there was a special sitting that sat, debated, and passed a resolution, Mr. Speaker, towards removing the government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is good for the goods, Mr. Speaker?
What is the point of order, Senator for Kericho?
Mr. Speaker.
No, you see, Mr. Speaker, I have really tried to restrain myself not to interrupt colleagues because I believe it's a respectful thing to do. But also I wish that the same respect that we accord to each other, we pass it to the county assembly because they are an equal entity just like us. It is not proper, Mr. Speaker, for a colleague to rise and state that there was nothing that shows that there was a sitting in the county assembly, including an order paper, while volume 3 of the document of the county assembly has all those documents, Mr. Speaker. Is it really fair? That's why I want to ask colleagues, even as you debate, I'm not saying I want to inform how you will vote, but be fair to the county assembly, Mr. Speaker. Don't castigate them on lies.
Senator Chimera, be factual in your submissions. Proceed.
May proceed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what I was saying is what is good for the goods, Mr. Speaker, must equally be good for the Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the last impeachment we had here was about the governor of Kericho, Mr. Speaker. And this Senate unanimously, Mr. Speaker, terminated proceedings at a PO level, Mr. Speaker. What has so fundamentally changed that there was an issue of threshold then, and right now, Mr. Speaker, there's a PO, Mr. Speaker, that is equally technical, Mr. Speaker, and we are being told to close our eyes, Mr. Speaker, and allow the Senate to proceed and listen to this. I support this motion, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for those many remarks, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wakoli.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa nafasi hii. Kwanza ni kujadili iwapo kulikuwa na kikao, iwapo kulikuwa na kumbukumbu ama rekodi za vikao, na vikao hivi vilikuwa vya kina nani na wahusika walikuwa kina nani, Mheshimiwa Spika. Jinsi nimeona vitabu vikiinuliwa hapa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kusema kwamba vikao vilikuwepo. Lakini cha muhimu ni kwamba vilikuwa vikao halisi ama vilikuwa vikao gushi. Na iwapo vilikuwa vikao halisi, ni lazima wajieleze. Jambo la pili, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni video ambayo nimeona hapa ndani ikionyesha ofisi iliyokuwa imevunjwa Isiolo. Kuna wahuni, kuna majambazi. Na iwapo ni hivyo, Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima tuwafuate, wakamatwe, kwa sababu wanahujumu shughuli za kaunti ya Isiolo. Mwisho kabisa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kwamba Waswahili husema kuku akijipata kwenye kesi ambaye mwewe ndio jaji atapata haki. Na jambo la pili, iwapo umewafuga kuku wamevuka ua na unampata mbweha na waandama kuku wako, utamfurusha mbweha ama mkungute na fimbo alafu mkamate kuku mrudishe kwenye boma. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Gathuri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, also for this opportunity to make a brief comment on Honorable Speaker, protect me from this right here.
You're duly protected. Proceed, yes.
So, Mr. Speaker, I've heard so many stories about Isiolo in the Senate committees. I was very happy because Isiolo is my neighbor, just next door neighbor, to know the issues that are in Isiolo County. But today, Mr. Speaker, also looking at this document, which has never, this, Mr. Speaker, this is public participation evidence, this big document. So, Mr. Speaker, I thought I would be able to scrutinize all these issues this week so that I can be able to know exactly the issues in Isiolo. I've never interacted with whatever happens there because I'm not in any of those committees. But, Mr. Speaker, looking at what has happened through the PO, it is like I've lost that opportunity. And listening to my colleagues, it's like I'm losing that opportunity to understand what is happening. So, Mr. Speaker, mine is to say, if the issues in Isiolo, the only house that can help Isiolo sort its problem is the Senate. We can never run away from our responsibility, Honourable Speaker. The committees mentioned, devolution, PAC, CPIC, any other committee, health, I saw them in Isiolo. We have that responsibility to assist Isiolo work. So, Mr. Speaker, this House has a big responsibility, even though we will make a decision today in one or the other. We are elected by the people of Kenya to defend devolution. And, Mr. Speaker, I would be very happy indeed if committees of this House, even if it's 5 or 6 or 7 or 10, to join Isiolo County, to visit Isiolo, and then also I will request that of this House, whatever will be the decision that will be made, be a friend of this House. We want to sort all the issues in Isiolo. This House is so friendly. And then I'll also request the Assembly, Isiolo County Assembly, to be serious and bring serious documents to this House, Mr. Speaker. Because, as I said, I am...
Senator Eddie.
Mr. Speaker, the question that we are talking about here today is about procedural technicality versus substantive justice. Mr. Speaker, under Article 1 of the Constitution, the requirement and the process for removing a governor is stipulated. Under that article, then, we are told by the Constitution that Parliament shall enact laws for which that removal of a governor will take course. And those laws, Mr. Speaker, is you find that under the County Government Act, Section 33, this is where we are invited to look at the issue of removal of a governor. This is what the law says. A member of the County Assembly may, not shall, may, by notice to the Speaker, supported by at least a third of all the members, move a motion of the removal of the governor under Article 181. So I want you to note the word. We are guided where the law or the framework of the Constitution anticipated that in the process of a removal of a governor, or even in the process of a removal of the president, or otherwise the deputy president, there can be procedural technicalities that can be caused by things like violence, can be caused by things like impunity, can be caused by any other thing that can make it impossible for you to actually exercise your duty. I am perturbed that in this House, I've listened to my colleague senators, no one is asking the question, 16 MCAs who are given this power by the people under that article, Mr. Speaker, under what circumstances did they sit? Does it matter? Do we want to elevate procedural technicality over substantive justice under Article 159 of the Constitution? Because we are invited to look at that article, we are sitting here on a quasi-judicial process. Article 125 of the Constitution makes us a court. And in that quasi-judicial process, then we must abide to the Constitution, that there can be some circumstances under which we must then invite ourselves, because even when we're sitting here, this is part of the procedure That's why we are sitting here. We need to accord Isiolo a fair trial, a fair hearing to the governor, a fair hearing to the MCAs who have been given powers under Article 181 of the Constitution. And that can only happen by making sure that we go to a full trial. That in that case, and only then, can we be able to protect devolution under Article.
Senator Mofire.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, please protect me. There is a lot of round consultations. Honorable Speaker, I want to support this motion from the onset. Honorable Speaker, as much as the Isiolo residents deserve justice, the MCAs deserve justice, the governor also deserves justice. Honorable Speaker, I am an authority as far as county assembly matters are concerned. I have sat in county assembly for a decade. As a member of county assembly, I know all the procedures. County assembly, just like this house, Honorable Speaker, is a house of rule. We cannot have a situation where people would want to sit in some funny corners and purport to have sat down to impeach a governor. Honorable Speaker, we don't want to institute a president. We are senior brothers. We must be seen to be teaching county assemblies the best way to perform your duties. Honorable Speaker, I listened to the evidence adduced by both the parties. I was not able to capture any tangible evidence from the country, from the councils, from the county assemblies. Though I'm not a lawyer, Honorable Speaker, I could easily guess from the councils from the county assemblies that most of the evidence that they brought before this house was cooked. Let them go back. The Senate will be here tomorrow. We shall be here the next day. We shall be here up to 2027. Let them put the house in order.
What is the point of order, Senator Mandago?
What is it, Honorable Mandago?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, understanding Order 105. And I want to ask the Senator for Tharaka-Nithi, who was also a former MCA, for the Senator for Tharaka-Nithi to say all these evidences were cooked. Honorable Speaker, what does it take to use correct parliamentary language so that we can have a sober debate?
Now, order, Senator Mofire. We have not had a chance to go through the evidence as contained in the bundles. So whether they were cooked or not, we cannot be able to tell at this juncture. Kindly refrain yourself from making such assertions.
Well, Honorable Speaker, but I'm trying to narrate how I captured the evidence, because I did not capture any tangible evidence to showcase that the county assembly really sat. But in that respect, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support the motion, and I want to request my good friends from Isiolo, let them go back, put the house in order, let them follow the law. We are here tomorrow, we are here the day after tomorrow, and we are going to assist them and make sure that Isiolo gets justice, governor gets justice, and the county assemblies gets justice. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Joyce Chepkoech.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the county assemblies are a replica of the parliament. And the procedures, rules and procedures, Honorable Speaker, are used in the two levels of houses. Honorable Speaker, I have had a number of colleagues trying to defend the debate that is in the floor of the House. Honorable Speaker, it looks weird for this House, and even before the eyes of Kenyans, that we are discussing the procedure, which is well stipulated, either in the order paper, in the standing orders, in the process. Honorable Speaker, that aside, the biggest question that is running through my mind is, what do we do with the issue? Because it seems there is forgery of documents. There is doctoring of minutes. What are we setting as a house? What are we debating as a house? What are we telling other assemblies? There is an issue that was raised by Honorable Sifuna. I'm not a lawyer, but what are we telling the rest of the Kenyans in terms of the documents that has been doctored, that the Senate right now is wasting time deliberating on it? What kind of business are we handling as a house? What precedents are we setting as a house? Honorable Speaker, I am one disappointed person today in this house. We are dealing with forged documents. We are trying.
Senator, of documents having been forged, you need a document expert, examiner.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Why then, Speaker, are we discussing whether this motion, why are we discussing, Honorable Speaker, whether the motion at hand is, it's so weird. Why are we discussing the merit of this motion that is in floor of the House? It is because the documents are doctored. That is the question. That is the issue. If the documents are not doctored, then the motion will not be there. Why are we discussing whether the assembly did a sitting or not? Either it was a legal sitting or illegal sitting. Why are we debating?
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support this motion because, Honorable Speaker, the County Assembly of Isiolo also needs justice. The governor also requires justice. There are two questions you posed to the council, sitting or no sitting. You repeated twice, and I picked it, that this is what is going to cook this particular motion, Honorable Speaker, because it exposed that there was no sitting. So basically, we would have proceeded actually to discuss the entire trial if that particular evidence was not shown. So it is the council who has assisted us to bring this thing at the House of Precedents. In October last year, a similar impeachment for the governor for Kericho was brought here. And we debated. We said they required 32 MCAs, but those who voted for the motion were 31. So we discussed, we debated, and then we passed. 34 senators voted yes, and then 10 were in nays. So basically, we stopped at that particular place. We want to tell the County Assembly of Isiolo, please, either you go back with your governor, agree and work together, or disagree and bring a properly motion that has been put through the proper procedures. Otherwise, we're here. Senate is going nowhere. We are still here for the next 2 years. So if you don't agree to work, please, we are ready. It's our job to impeach or not to impeach. Bring him back again. We are ready.
Senator Miraj.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Kulingana na gumzo ambalo linaendelea, ni dhahiri shahiri ya kwamba kuna hitilafu katika kutimuliwa kwa gavana wa Isiolo. Na mimi nikiunga mkono kauli za wengi ambao wameweza kuzungumza katika jumba hili la Seneti, niweze kuzungumza kinaga ubaga ya kwamba ni dhahiri shahiri pia ma-MCA, wawakilishi wodi wa bunge la Isiolo, wako na ari na wako na ushahidi wa kutosha kuonesha kwamba katika gatuzi ya Isiolo kuko na matatizo ambayo yanahitaji bunge la Seneti kuweza kuwasaidia kuyatatua. Na kwa sababu hayo ndio majukumu tuliyotwikwa na katiba yetu ya Kenya, ni vyema basi wasitumie njia za mkato kuweza kumtimua gavana ambaye amechaguliwa na wananchi wa Isiolo. Lakini nikifunga changizo zangu, Bwana Spika, nipende kuwarai na kuwaomba maseneta wenzangu ambao tuko katika jumba hili. Niwaambie ya kwamba tuko na majukumu ya kuweza kuleta sheria ambayo itawapatia mawakilishi wadi wetu kuweza kuwaleta magavana wao hapa, kwa sababu nina imani kubwa ya kwamba asilimia kubwa ya ma-MCA na assemblies zetu katika taifa la Kenya wangependa kuwaleta magavana wao hapa, lakini jinsi sheria zilivyotungwa, zilivyowekwa, haziwasaidii mabunge yetu kuweza kuleta lalama zao katika bunge hili la Seneti. Haiwezekani ya kwamba ushahidi wa kutosha uko mbele yetu, lakini kwa sababu ya sheria ambazo tumezitunga sisi kama wajumbe katika taifa hili, zinaweka vikwazo ambavyo hatuwezi kuingia kuangalia ushahidi ule. Ingawaje ukweli ni mchungu, lakini sheria lazima isimame, kwa sababu ni msumeno unakata mbele na nyuma. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Mundigi.
Okay, asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia mjadala wa kutimua gavana wa Isiolo. Mimi Bwana Spika nasema si vizuri sana, kwa sababu kuna mipangilio ambaye pale mwanzo MCA wangepanga ndio waweze kukaa na kikao kama ile ya assembly ya county. Bwana Spika, aionyeshi vizuri vile walikaa, kwa sababu nakumbuka katika sheria mpaka wangekuwa na pahali wanakaa, kwa sababu miaka mingi hata wakati wa MCAs na pia councillors wakati walikuwa nataka kutimua yoyote walikuwa naenda wananjivisha pahali, lakini katika pahali yote wakienda hakuna mahali ilikuwa na inazungumziwa. Lakini siku ya mwisho ya kikao, mpaka hata kama ni vita ya misare ama ya bunduki, mpaka wangeingia kwa ile kikao ndio ionekane wanafanya kazi gani. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi naunga mkono gavana aweze kurudishwa, kwa sababu kuna mambo ingifuatiliwa. Nataka niambie Senator Andy rafiki yangu, sio kumaanisha hatujui hatujafuata njia ile nafaa, lakini katika Biblia na katika Qur'an kuna kitu inasema kuna mtu mmoja katika Biblia ya Qur'ani alijenga nyumba, lakini mmoja akajenga kwa mawe na mwingine akajenga kwa mchanga, lakini wakati mvua ilikuja ile ya mchanga iliteremka. Kwa hivyo wacha hii nyumba ya Isiolo ya MCA iteremke, na itakuwa ni funzo kwa kaunti yote 47 ndio wawe na mwanzo wa kufuatilia sheria vile tutakuwa tunatimua mangavana. Habari hiyo ingine ni kujibu majority mkubwa wangu Serioti. Mambo ile amesema kuna tofauti ya Kericho na Isiolo. Nataka nimuelezee haina tofauti, kwa sababu ile haikuwa na MCA moja ikawa imetemwa mbali, na hii naye kutoka pale kwa mwanzo hakuna pahali inaonyesha vile wangekuwa wanataka kutimua ile governor. Nataka nijibu senator ambaye ni Joyce ambaye amesema sisi hapa tunatupa wakati. Nataka niambie Senate saa hii haitupi wakati, kwa sababu katika Senate tuko Senator 67. Tunataka kuonyesha nchi ya Kenya, wale watu wanatuangalia vile tuko na ukweli ya kuchambua mambo ya Senate, ndio ile watu wengine wakitimua governor wataweza kufuata njia ile nafaa. Nikimalizia, mimi nasema wacha turudishe governor, na governor tafadhali, tumejua mambo mingi, lakini tunakuomba ukirudi pale Biblia inasema watu wawili waweze kutembea bila kuelewana, na kuomba uende ukae chini na MCA muweze kuelewanwa, ndio ile county ya Isiolo iweze kuendelea vizuri. Na nyinyi MCA kama governor hata kuja mkae kikao kimoja ya kupandilisha ile county ya Isiolo, tunamuomba mrudishe na tutamtimua kama mtakuwa mmefuata njia ile inafaa.
Senator Sigei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to read an excerpt from a decision of the court on impeachments. This is what the court said. Impeachments are vested in the county assemblies and the Senate to check the executive powers, ensure good governance. It is a means of trying them, that is the governors, for offenses they may perpetrate while in office. It is an additional sanction for wrongdoing. Mr. Speaker, I read that excerpt because I've agonized over the debate that is going on in the House as regards the preliminary objection. And the mover of this motion, the Honorable Senate Majority Leader, ran us through what he also felt is a struggle with the challenge that is existing in the county of Isiolo, where reading through part of the documents, which unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we have not gone through substantively, there is indeed a challenge. There is indeed areas where we have got the people of Isiolo having genuine, valid concerns about governance, which is a subject which impeachments are meant to do. When in the morning, Mr. Speaker, I sought clarifications on two issues from the Council for the County Assembly as well as the Council for the Governor, it was to clear the aspect that was in my mind as regards the issue which we are now debating, whether indeed there was any sitting or there was none. The response I got from the respective councils led me to look at the standing orders of the County Assembly of Isiolo. And Mr. Speaker, part 25 of the standing orders of County Assembly of Isiolo provides on the journal, the records, and the proceedings and the custodian of those proceedings. It indeed, Mr. Speaker, guides us to be able to understand, especially in the form and manner of the documents which have been filed by the governor as well as the county assembly in this house, whether indeed there was a sitting on 18th and the 26th of June 2025. And Mr. Speaker, in these records, contrary to the response that I got, there is an aspect that is still not very clear in my mind. And this aspect speaks to the substantive issue which, with a very heavy heart, we are called upon as a house to determine at a preliminary stage whether we proceed or we terminate.
Senator Veronica.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, at the very onset, anytime you find impeachment proceedings knocking at the door of Senate, it means there is some fire burning somewhere in that county. And Honorable Speaker, looking at the question that has come before this House, whether there was a sitting on the specific days or no sitting, Honorable Speaker, we have been presented a video evidence which was not fully backed.
Order, honorable senators, kindly hear Honorable Veronica in silence, please.
We have been presented with video evidence which was not fully backed with the certificate, and unfortunately it came before the time when evidence should be adduced in these impeachment proceedings, Honorable Senator, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the procedure that is supposed to be adopted, this House, in discharging its mandate to conduct impeachment proceedings, is bound by Article 181, is bound by Section 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act. It's also bound by the standing orders from the respective houses, both the County Assembly of Isiolo and the standing orders and Schedule 3 of Senate standing orders, Honorable Speaker. So unfortunately, unless there is full compliance with the process, with the procedure that is laid down in all the acts of parliament that are supposed to be read as these impeachment proceedings are done, then it will not meet the threshold or the basic threshold that is supposed to be ticked as having been fully complied with. Unfortunately, when I looked at the video, Honorable Speaker, I only saw a room which was, had broken computers, broken items, a room or an office that looked like what we saw yesterday during Maandamano in Kenya. I must say it's very unfortunate that in the County Assembly of Isiolo, business was conducted on that specific day, and what ended up may have been the vandalizing of the Hansard, so we don't have the advantage of seeing what happened in the County Assembly. And in place of a Hansard, in place of using technology, which is supposed to ease the evidence that should be adduced before this House, we instead have explanations and pictures that do not even show the County Assembly.
In actual fact, that video did not display any house sitting. So conclusively, without looking at any other document, if that is the basis on which we should determine whether there was a sitting or not, those videos did not show any sitting. But
Senator Crystal Asige.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think that I've been sitting here and really I have only one question. Are we here to prosecute a motion or are we here to prosecute a motion? In this preliminary stage, I have had both, Mr. Speaker, and inevitably in any impeachment hearing, both will be baked into the process. But here we are, Speaker, asked to determine between two truths. One truth from the governor's side, which is that there was no sitting. That's his truth. Another from the assembly side, which is that there was a sitting, and that is their truth. But I believe in everything, there is always three truths, three sides to every story. And contrary to what I've heard from other members, I actually believe that there was a sitting. I just do not, at this preliminary stage, feel convinced by the assembly side that it was a valid sitting. Unfortunately, that is the conclusion that I have been able to come to at this stage. And if we are to proceed, we must proceed, as everyone has said, in one way or the other, by the rule of law. And if that threshold to convince or persuade this House, or majority at least of this House, that there was a valid sitting that took place, and therefore we should proceed into full trial, then, Speaker, I'm afraid we might have to, unfortunately for the Assembly, because I also believe that they must have a case that they are strongly believe and have put effort to bring to this House. But in this case, I would encourage them to go back, bring something that is procedural and correct, and dot all of their I's and cross all of them.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first I rise to oppose this motion, Honorable Speaker, that we should not terminate these proceedings at these preliminary stages, Honorable Speaker, because there is evidence that there was a sitting, Honorable Speaker, as per what has been adduced by County Assembly, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the governor of Isiolo was impeached by 16 members of County Assembly out of 18, Honorable Speaker. It's a record of a 95% attendance and Speaker of impeachment. But Honorable Speaker, I want my colleagues to reflect on the roles of Parliament, Honorable Speaker, and the powers of this House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, under Article 125, this House has the power. In exercising that authority, Honorable Speaker, the Senate and Parliament, Honorable Speaker, we should terminate the proceedings. The judicial authority is derived by or the Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you read Section D, justice shall be administered without undue regard to procedural technicalities, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we should allow this process to go to its logical conclusion. At this stage, Honorable Speaker, we are not saying that the governor for Isiolo is guilty of the grounds that have been said, but we would want to listen to what the Assembly has given, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I want to also tell my friend, the Senator for Kakamega, Senator Bonica Luwale, a non-practicing gynecologist, Honorable Speaker, that when a mother is due to deliver, Honorable Speaker, and there is no delivery coach, you cannot ask that the baby goes back. You just deliver as is. Honorable Speaker, this motion of impeachment has started. We must proceed with it as is so that we can help the people of Isiolo, Honorable Speaker, realize what they have said, considering that there has been substantive public participation.
Senator Metho.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Senate cannot be reduced to a theater of absurdity. The question before us in this motion, Mr. Speaker, sir, is not a merely procedural question. It is a deep constitutional question that must be answered. Mr. Speaker, sir, just imagine if you were to carry this precedence and allow this motion to go to full hearing, Mr. Speaker. What stops a speaker of another county assembly conveying a message to you, even without any sitting? What stops them? Mr. Speaker, sir, we have been told by the leader of majority, who has been very sensational here when he's speaking, that we want to kill this motion at this level. Mr. Speaker, sir, assembly, just go back, bring a good motion, and we shall prosecute it. The Senate has not said that we are not ready to prosecute this particular motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, the senator from Mombasa has also alluded that let us just deal with this motion. If Governor Guyo is impeached, he can go to court. The prescription that the senator from Mombasa has given is that let us take poison and then we can take milk later. That shall not happen and we cannot do it. We cannot take poison as we are seeing. This motion is defective. There was no sitting of the county assembly. And so therefore, there is no recourse to it. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to say, and I want to be very, very careful with the words that I want to choose so that I'm not disrupted by many people who want to disrupt us as we are speaking here. I do not like, there has no room for my feeling. It does not have any room for what I feel about his leadership. The Constitution allows me to only wait until 2027, painfully. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, even for the members of the County Assembly, theirs is not as a long wait as mine and Senator Wambua. Theirs is just going back. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I'm thinking in my mind, if they were to just go back to the County Assembly and process this motion as it is supposed to be, we can't say that this motion has been lost, so they have to wait for 6 months, because there was no motion anyway, because there was no sitting anyway. They can sit tomorrow, process this motion, and look at me and see that I was very ready to prosecute the business of Isiolo, Mr. Speaker. So we shall be here and we shall be available. If you call us on a Sunday, we'll be here. If you call us on a Monday, we shall be here, so that we give justice to the people of Isiolo, including the governor, who is also a son of the county government of
Senator Hezana.
Thank you. I agree to impeach him, given the fact that he had made very derogatory remarks against women with various committees of the Senate. And most importantly, because I want our northern counties, which have been marginalized for so many years, to be examples of counties that can have true leadership to liberate our people from a lot of marginalization. However, Mr. Speaker, as a House of Rules and Procedures, there has been questions as to how the MCAs have approached this impeachment, and I know that it pokes a lot of questions onto how the Senate has been handling this issue. That means we need to do a lot of amendments. One, on at what level the Senate decides that this is a matter that can now come to the floor of the Senate and henceforth demand attention of the senators. I don't know whether that is a failure on the clerk or our legal team. And secondly, we also need to amend the time frame that we need between one impeachment and another, so that these issues that were really burning our MCAs in Isiolo County can be addressed in a just manner. And with that, I support. Thank you.
Senator Perez Tobiko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To reiterate the fact that this motion, we would have wanted to listen to the substantive part of the impeachment motion, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, the County Assembly has not been able to sufficiently demonstrate to this House that there was a sitting. And, Mr. Speaker, even when they were given a chance, the lawyers of the County Assembly were given to give us the sittings at the Assembly, Mr. Speaker, what they did is to show some place like an office, which definitely had been ramshackled in a way, Mr. Speaker, which did not show it's a chamber, Mr. Speaker. There were no members, Mr. Speaker. So there was no way for this House to, and we were eager, Mr. Speaker, to go through the rigors of this impeachment proposal, Mr. Speaker. We have no choice, Mr. Speaker. The law, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we would not have wanted to bring our biases into this case, because if it were, then maybe we would have gone the direction Senator Hezena is, saying, because the women governors, senators in this House, Mr. Speaker, had a lot of bone to pick with the governor. But the way it has come, Mr. Speaker, it has failed the test, at least the initial tests, Mr. Speaker, for us to be able to proceed to full hearing. So, Mr. Speaker, to cut the whole story short, Mr. Speaker, it's not been proven that there was a sitting, and there is no way we can proceed if there was no sitting, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity also to add my voice into this very important matter. Honorable Speaker, we are here to interrogate whether the County Assembly of Isiolo really sat to deliberate the issues of impeachment of the governor. Honorable Speaker, I had an opportunity of listening to the Council of the County Assembly of Isiolo. And Honorable Speaker, I can confirm that the councils were really struggling to convince this House that indeed the County Assembly of Isiolo sat to deliberate on the issues of the impeachment of the governor. Honorable Speaker, Article 96, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, provides that this Senate is mandated by the Constitution to take care of the counties and its government. Honorable Speaker, I would urge that this House, Honorable Speaker, when we retreat to make a proper deliberation on whether this motion should continue or not, Honorable Speaker, I would urge this House to do the right thing and set a good precedent, so that, Honorable Speaker, we may not be judged wrongly, Honorable Speaker, by generations to come. Honorable Speaker, with that, I support this motion, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Tabitha Keroche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity also to contribute to this motion, this important motion. I think as I'm also thinking on what to say on this motion, I feel also the pain of Senator Joyce Correa, because I think we need to amend Article 181 of our Constitution, because if you look at what you've been doing here since morning, just to deliberate on something that we know that it didn't follow the right procedure, I think we need to have the Senate Legal Department, when we amend that Constitution, to ensure before any document on impeachment is brought to this House of ours, it's really checked whether it has made the ground and it has followed the right procedure. And I think the MCAs of Isiolo have denied us a very important impeachment motion. We would have wanted really to know, because them coming to tell us that there are two speakers and two clerks, I think I would really have wanted to know how they passed to the county assembly, and as far as I know, they are the people who are supposed to approve the team that is always brought to the House, to the assembly by the governor. So I really advise you to really look at that, because at the end of it, I think you're the ones people who will be going home, not the governor, if you brought that motion. Because everybody will be asking, how did they come to be picked and put that we have two speakers. Because to me, I think the National Assembly are the one, the County Assembly are the ones who approve any team that is brought by the governor on the floor of the Assembly. So I think what people are complaining about the county assemblies, we should be very, very careful, because the minute you brought a motion here and the Isiolo people that elected you are watching, they'll be wondering such questions that we're asking ourselves. How did we bring this motion? Did they not follow the right procedure? And then the accusations that are there, they are the people who are supposed to do the oversight and ensure that such things the governor doesn't do. How do you approve and allow the governor to put in two speakers and two clerks?
Senator Mwaruma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, where there is smoke, there is fire. Simply by the virtue of the fact that the Assembly has escalated a resolution to impeach the governor, then it's a pointer to a problem in the general running of the government of Isiolo. There's a lot of harm, career-wise, of a governor or any public officer who is impeached. And that is why we should scrutinize carefully the process and the product of the impeachment. It would have been our wish, Mr. Speaker, to scrutinize the allegations and the evidence that are pointed towards the governor. But, Mr. Speaker, we must start with the preliminaries. Mr. Speaker, impeachment takes place in the county assembly. What happens in the Senate is a trial. Now, we must ask ourselves, if impeachment takes place in the assembly, then it must take place in the correct manner. The procedure must be followed. Looking at the evidence that has been adduced by the Assembly to show that there was impeachment, Mr. Speaker, I'm not convinced that a sitting took place. Mr. Speaker, because the Hansard report that has been given by the Assembly has not been certified. What was the challenge in certifying the Hansard? Mr. Speaker, we've seen some semblance of violence that took place that then showed that there was destruction of the video evidence, and that the transcription was not done of the Hansard, was not done through the video evidence, but from the evidence of the audio, and that the audio is available but has not been brought here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if there's a challenge of sitting in the assembly of Isiolo, they can also ask for another venue, but the procedure is very clear that it must be gazetted, and that there must be a resolution to sit in a different venue other than the gazetted assembly. We have not been shown any gazette notice to show or to convince us that a different venue was gazetted for the assembly to sit. Mr. Speaker, I would urge the assembly to go back and do a proper procedural impeachment. We are not running anywhere as senators or as Senate. Let them bring another impeachment motion if they want. But I'm also urging that there's another process through the Committee of Devolution, suo motu. They can go to Isiolo and look and diagnose the problems in Isiolo with a view to making sure that devolution works.
Senator Esi Okanyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to actually place emphasis on the significance of procedure in the impeachment process, Mr. Speaker. So in a situation where this has not been followed, Mr. Speaker, we do not want to have the impeachment process as a weak tool to restrain people who want to misuse their public offices, Mr. Speaker. So while I feel for the people of Isiolo, for the county assembly, I wish that whatever case they brought here earlier, I actually sought clarity on whether the Hansard recordings can actually be displayed if they actually conducted their sittings in a room or their sittings were done outside. There was no evidence for the same, which makes me feel then the right procedure was not followed, Mr. Speaker. We want to make this process so credible that any other governor who's brought to this Senate as a house of reason is able to go home knowing substantive justice was actually rendered to them. Substantive justice cannot be talked about where due process has not been followed, and where due process has not been followed, even wanting to go into the evidences will not help in this case, Mr. Speaker, because from the beginning, the whole process has not been followed so that we abide by the rule of law, Mr. Speaker. So I wish that we actually put emotions aside and look at this issue critically, Mr. Speaker, because all over the world, impeachments that have happened have actually followed the rule of law. It's not about dislike for someone, and even when you dislike someone, you have to ensure that you followed the correct process for you to remove them from office. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I stand here to idle my voice that I oppose the motion, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, when 16 MCAs come together for a motion of impeachment, Mr. Speaker, there must be a procedure which is supposed to be followed. Mr. Speaker, there is volume 3, which has order paper, hand-sat, everything, Mr. Speaker. If at all, if there is no procedures, this whole document cannot be available to the Senate, Mr. Speaker. So on this ground, Mr. Speaker, I oppose and I say there is a meeting, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Professor Margaret Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I sit in the Committee of Devolution, and I was involved in the case of Nyamira. We were also involved in the case of Machakos, where we had, Machakos actually didn't have different speakers. Machakos, a speaker, just decided to close the assembly, Sindai, without involving anybody. And you look at these cases and you ask yourself, what kind of advice can we give as a committee? In the case of Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, we reached a point that we even invited the comptroller of budget, because the comptroller of budget was paying one line in the assembly and leaving out the other line. And we said, so who are you paying? Because they had two speakers, they had two clerks. Why am I saying this, Mr. Speaker? I'm saying this because we need a Senate to advise and to help our counties properly. Our county assemblies need to be protected. First, one of the two features that came out in both counties that we handled was the violence that took place. The violence that took place in Machakos was exactly the same violence that took place in Nyamira, and the same violence that we are being told, although we did not see the actual violence, we saw the aftermath. We need to be very clear that when MCS are handling a very serious agenda like impeachment, which is very serious because it borders on who is right between the executive and the assembly, it is the protection of the MCS is of paramount. Even in this case, Mr. Speaker, if the House finds that the procedure was not done properly and that they go back, we need to be assured that even if they go back, they will have protection as a house. Because what we saw in Nyamira was a case where, gosh,
I thought the professor had 6 more seconds. Oh, Professor, you got emotional and you couldn't speak.
No, I saw the red light and I was shocked that I had finished 3 minutes because, Mr. Speaker, unless we come out as a Senate to actually define the norms, and even if we have to go to our own standing orders, we need to deal with that because the protection of a house that is dealing with impeachment must be assured. If they are not assured, then they have nowhere. They will be hiding from each other, and we will not be able to.
Now, lastly, the senator for Isiolo County. As is our tradition, the host senator normally gets more time, and therefore, Honorable Senator, I'll give you 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity and again agreeing to give me more minutes. Mr. Speaker, I have been sitting in this house for the last 13 years. What I have seen today has never happened in the history of this year. Now, the matters of procedure, this is not a court of law, Mr. Speaker. Killing a motion at the PO level is disastrous. Because people stand here and say, oh, we didn't see this, or the assembly didn't see it, or what. I wish the people who are negatively talking about the assembly, they should have known what they have gone through. Mr. Speaker, there are people who are saying the sitting didn't take place here. The circumstance, they were almost losing their lives. Mr. Speaker, before this motion, this house was crying for the blood of Governor for Isiolo. Before this motion, we know each other, and I know what transpired even 30 minutes ago. And I think it's good the public know what happened and Isiolo people know what happened. Mr. Speaker, Sokohuru is taking over this house. And I must say this. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
You cannot impute improper motive on your colleagues. If you want to proceed in that manner, you know what to do. Substantive motions.
Mr. Speaker, let me proceed, and I will leave it at that. Isiolo is bleeding today. Isiolo is not safe today. The assembly is not safe after today. I am not safe after today. Isiolo people will not be safe after today. And I can see the people who actually normally fight me in the social media, they are all here watching. Already, tonight, you will see that chaos that will happen in Isiolo County. Even be able to understand the veracity of this particular impeachment. But as it is today, Mr. Speaker, I don't think Assembly will have guts to bring in. We stand here always criticizing the counties. We stand here talking about oversight. The oversight is killed today
by the same House, Mr. Speaker. If the direction you are going to take is to kill the PO, Mr. Speaker. And I must be on record for this. Members of Assembly have elected a speaker. The so-called clerk, printer, who was elected by 2 members of... There was a commander of AP who was brought here to produce an evidence in favor of the governor. Does he sit in the House? Mr. Speaker, there is a young man who was beaten 2 days ago, fighting for his life in ICU, just simply because he's a blogger. Mr. Speaker, in this impeachment, there are people who have actually been injured and maimed. That the Senate, if they are going to take the direction of killing the PO, you have thrown Isiolo to the dogs, you have thrown the Assembly to the dogs, and if anything happens tomorrow, this House will be blamed. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I do not have any name on my dashboard of any senator indicating to speak or contribute to this motion, and therefore I will call upon the mover to reply. Senator for Isiolo.
All of this House, I need protection. The Assembly requires protection from the security agencies. I thank you.
You may proceed to reply.
Quite a number that I don't agree with, alleging do not exist as to the substance of the matter before 30 centimeters from protracted debate before us since morning, with both councils for the Assembly and those of the governor trading accusations against the other on whether a sitting actually happened. You know, members, we live in Kenya. Don't be like this elitist in Nairobi. How many times do we go to far-flung counties, including the very last one we went to in Turkana? Do you know part of the things the county assembly asked us to donate to them? Even Hansard recordings alone. We did support a big time. Both in terms of technical, are so small that if you were to judge them with the standard of a county like Nairobi or here in the Senate, we will be aloof, Mr. Speaker. If you expect that they have CCTVs, they have cameras, Mr. Speaker, you are asking too much of a county that in 2016, I was part and parcel of the budget committee, Mr. Speaker, that looked at the state of county like Isiolo and Nyandarua, Mr. Speaker, and accepted that despite the fact that we have 47 counties, there are 5 counties that there was no way, without being granted a conditional grant, was going to have a county headquarters. In fact, in this year's DORA, Mr. Speaker, is when we've given them the last contribution. That is why, and Council for, I think, the Assembly, did not do a good job at expounding to you members to understand. That is how bad that situation is in that particular county. As we speak today, what you saw in that video is what these people are returning back to. Should this PO be upheld, Mr. Speaker? A place that has completely been broken, there is no order, there are 2 clerks, there are 2 speakers. Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that we can find a way of resolving this particular conflict. I listen to those who say that procedure is as important as a product. But also the product, Mr. Speaker, must be informed by the process. If at the time of voting, they were saying, how good a record can you keep? There must be an issue beyond procedure that we need to look at, Mr. Speaker. I listen to colleagues here who have said that take some of these matters that are beyond the House resolving that matters.
has again, I think, erupted the county assembly. Remember the matter that we had here before us? I think 8 or 10 MCAs were expelled yesterday, meaning we have never been able to resolve these issues. Our colleagues that serve in devolution committee, I want them to request of them, Mr. Speaker, that they treat these matters with the urgency that they deserve. I have served in devolution committee before, Mr. Speaker. This is one of the premier committees of this House. A committee that on their own volition, anytime you notice a matter of this magnitude in a county, even before an impeachment motion in committee, I want to request, the same way that you have committed and have said that there are many, many issues that you think needs to be resolved. For example, Senator Fatuma, our colleague, has raised a very important question. When you tell the assembly to go back and follow the right procedure, under which speaker now? First of all, where will they meet? Mr. Speaker, there are very serious issues. I want to request Senator Abbas, Senator Boni Halwale to be a very decent man, Mr. Speaker. I don't know what has happened to him today. How can he heckle his leader while he's speaking? I would say that once you make a vote, there should be a process through which you can unmake it. And people change their minds. That is allowed. I know, for example, that there is no senator that pushed me and kept on telling me that you need to bring the impeachment motion against the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua more than Senator Nyutu. But at the time the motion came to the floor, he had changed his mind. So these things happen, Mr. Speaker. So there is no problem. People change their minds.
Majority Leader, take your seat. Majority Leader.
Yes, sir.
There is a point of order directed at you.
3 times. For him to say that I pushed him to move the motion of impeachment against the second Deputy President, right of reply. This is my right of reply.
Order, honorable senators. Now, Senator Nyutu. Senator Nyutu, I gave you the opportunity to raise your point of order. First, you need to state under what standing order you are.
Every senator, Mr. Speaker, senator alleges to be following that leader should go ahead. And Mr. These are motion. Mr. Speaker, then in fact motion to impeach the president, Mr. Speaker. That is what I would push him really hard to do. But of course I know he cannot do that. So Mr. Speaker, let the majority leader withdraw and apologize to me and to the...
To the extent or to the effect that the senator for Muranga, Senator Nyutu, pushed you.
Yes.
Impeachment against the Deputy President, an assertion that has been disputed vehemently by the senator for Muranga. Could you please proceed to substantiate that allegation? And if you're unable,
Mr. Speaker,
to withdraw.
Mr. Speaker, okay. Mr. Speaker, how can you allege something against yourself? Because I said that he pushed me on so many occasions saying, bring this damn motion. Mr. Speaker,
allow the majority leader to substantiate.
Yes. On the day the former deputy president went to Meru and said there is a senator who is quote unquote talking mad, or in Swahili anaongea matope, in referring to the senator for Muranga, Senator Nyutu came fuming into the house and told me, have you heard what that man has said? Can you bring the motion to impeach me? And on so many other occasions, he talked to me, Mr. Speaker. So if he talked to me, Mr. Speaker, who do I need to convince? Yet I'm talking about myself, the things he told me.
Now, honorable senators, we have some serious matters to handle. Order, honorable senators. Order. Order, honorable senators. Order, order. Now, order, honorable senators. A conversation that took place between two people, it is a word of the majority leader against the word of the senator for Muranga. The majority leader has clearly indicated that this was a conversation between me and the senator for Muranga. So, honorable senators, let that matter lie. Conclude your moving of the motion. Proceed to conclude your moving of the motion.
So thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, like I have said, Mr. Speaker, people will have the opportunity to determine this matter whichever way they want. But there are very serious issues that the people of Isiolo are inviting us to arbitrate amongst them. Mr. Speaker, it will be unfortunate if this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, or this evening, we were to sit down and tell the people of Isiolo that for all the things that you are alleging and that you have brought before us, Mr. Speaker, because we are not satisfied whether you sat or you didn't sit, Mr. Speaker, those matters don't matter to us anymore. I want to plead with you, dear colleagues, that see the pain of Senator Fatuma Dulo. There are certain things she said which personally maybe I am not privy to, and I would have wished that she never said so. But see beyond the words. See the pain of the people of Isiolo through Senator Fatuma Dulo. Mr. Speaker, I don't intend to take long because I believe I have been in this house long enough to know when you have said enough. I can see from the body posture of Professor Ujenda, Mr. Speaker, that he's telling me, can you conclude, Mr. Majority Leader? Mr. Speaker, reading the mood of the House, there are many things I would have wished to say, Mr. Speaker. But given that you have reached a point where sometimes as a man, even if you are wooing a woman, Mr. Speaker, you have said everything that you need to say. Then you surrender to the fate of humanity and say, you have heard what I have said. Mr. Speaker, I want to believe, even if it is fair, I have said everything that I need to say. Therefore, with those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply, Mr. Speaker, and I hope that in all that we do, we will find a solution for the people of Isiolo. Thank you, and God bless the Senate.
Now, honorable senators, I will direct the Sergeant at Arms to ring the division bell for 5 minutes.
The division bell is on for 5 minutes as directed by of the 5 minutes. The House will proceed to vote on the first motion. The motion in question being the preliminary issue on whether the County Assembly of Isiolo held sittings on the 18th day of June and the 26th day of June 2025 on the Ibrahim Hassan, this being a motion by the leader of the majority party, has taken about 3 hours, according to the standing orders of the House, on the time upon which a motion is to be dispensed with. The time allocated for debate is usually 3 hours. The debate on this motion began at about few minutes past 5. The 3 hours allocation has come to an end, and upon that climax of debate, the House moves to vote on this motion. During the debate on this motion, senators have raised concerns on a number of issues, with the matter in question being the holding of the County Assembly sitting on the 18th and subsequently on the 26th day of June 2025. A section say that there is indeed evidence before the Senate that the County Assembly indeed did hold the sitting. There has been divergent opinion as well, with some senators indicating that the members of the County Assembly, through their legal team, had a difficult time approving to the Senate when the objections were raised, whether indeed that sitting took place. The debate on the motion has concluded with the area senator being the last senator to make a contribution to this motion, and the senator for Isiolo County has raised a number of issues in regards to how the county of Isiolo is being run by the governor. And upon the conclusion, she has requested for security beef up for herself as well as members of the County Assembly. The mover was also called upon to reply, highlighting gaps in the impeachment procedures, likening this issue to the matter that was yet before the House, the matter pertaining the impeachment of the governor for Kericho County, whose impeachment was quashed based on technicalities. A similar case is before the Senate this evening, as the members of the County Assembly have been faulted of not using the requisite rules and regulations governing the removal of the governor from.
Order, honorable senators, kindly take your seats. Sergeant at arms, you may now proceed to lock the door and draw the bar. Honorable senators, take your seat. Now, honorable senators, and that voting shall be electronically. Honorable senators, and that voting shall be electronically. Now, just to echo my own words on the 18th and 26th of June, if you vote yes, you're basically saying there was no sitting. If you vote yes. If you vote no, you're saying there was a sitting. The second motion. However, impeachment of Honorable Abdi Ibrahim Hassan, the governor of Isiolo County. And further, whereas by a letter reference CA/RES/Volume 1/001, dated 26th June 2025, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on 25, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on 27th June 2025, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Isiolo documents in evidence of the Assembly that Ibrahim Hassan, the governor of Isiolo County, noting that a preliminary issue was raised by the governor of Isiolo County on whether the County Assembly of Isiolo held sittings on 18th June 2025 and 26th June 2025 of governor of Isiolo County. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves to uphold the preliminary issue raised on whether the county to table debate, pass an all vote on the motion for proposed removal from office by impeachment of the governor of Isiolo County and Abdi Ibrahim. Kindly log out. Yes, Senator for Kilifi, you may proceed to your seat. Now, Sergeant at Arms, kindly go round and pick any unattended. Unattended card. Once that exercise is complete, kindly signal. Thank you. Now, honorable senators, kindly log back. Log back into the delegate unit. Once you have done that, kindly proceed to vote. And time starts running from now. Okay. Order, honorable senators. Senator for Garissa, kindly take your seat. Now, honorable senators, the result of the vote on the division on this motion is as follows. Ayes, 31 votes. Nays, 12 votes. Abstention, 0 votes. So the ayes have it. Now, honorable senator, whether the County Assembly of Isiolo held debate, passed an all vote, Isiolo County was to be appealed to the motion or vote on the motion having been passed, the impeachment proceeding, operation of law of the 3-day relevant order paper, 9:30, sorry. Senator Dulo has expressed concern particularly Dulo or herself as the senator for Isiolo County. The security of the senator similarly must be assured. I therefore direct that the extract of the handset Isiolo County for the information. Your case may be back here through this preliminary objection. Clearly, a third party. As the top leader in Isiolo County, you need to mend your relationship. Take or you may by the Senate. Having said that, honorable senators, kindly be upstanding. The Senate now. Thank you.